think I know someone who needs to hear this. It's you. Yeah, you. Welcome back. Today's been a day. And I am getting out of the mind frame that everything has to look the same. Everything is just simply not going to look the same every day. And for years, I have had to work on this strong sense of perfectionism. Perfectionism has hindered my life, and I know I'm talking to somebody today. Perfectionism has caused me to not create things. Perfectionism has caused me to not finish things. Perfectionism has caused me to be late to the party. And I am letting perfectionism go. Like, that is a thing of the past. And even now, like, something in me is feeling like cringe. And I don't even know what it is, or why, or what. It just is. It's just important to stick to the plan. There are going to be days where you don't feel right. There are going to be days where you're not performing 100%. But the most important thing is, despite the ebb and the flow of the up and down, you show up. Just show up. And then once you show up, then you can tackle the next obstacle of being your best, doing your best, putting your best foot forward. Showing up is putting your best foot forward. So if you can at least show up and maintain that same cadence of energy, then you're bound to get somewhere because you keep showing up. So if you keep showing up and then you're in alignment with what you're showing up for, so you're showing up for the same cause over and over and over and over again, and then eventually, after you've shown up for this cause so many times, being in alignment, showing up, putting your best foot forward, you're bound to manifest something good. So I encourage you, keep showing up. I don't know what it's going to look like every day. I don't know what it looks like every day for myself. So I just keep telling myself, you know what? Even when things seem weird, just keep showing up. That's all you got to do. I'm struggling with a little fatigue, so I'm going to have some coffee. Just keep showing up. Allow life to be what it's going to be, because it is what it is. Trying to put shackles on life, trying to control the outcome of life, that's when you in turn cripple yourself. The best thing you can do is just show up and let it be what it's going to be, because it already is what it is. And for me, I think that for me, my childhood was so stifled, in a sense, not totality, but there was a huge sense of stifling in my childhood. The expectation to just be pretty as a peach and polite at the same time. And that caused me to always want to look, act, and think a certain way. It was indoctrination. And it happens a lot amongst families where you're just trying to fit this mold that's already been set for you despite who you actually are. So later on in life, you find yourself continuously trying to fit into a mold that you didn't even create. A mold that you don't even have any, like, it doesn't resonate with you. There's no deep resonance there. It's not familiar. It's just something that someone else has created out of an expectation from their own subconscious. I'm not here to live up to an expectation of someone else's subconscious. I'm just not. I am here to enlighten, find my own path, and live up to the expectation of God, not human beings. And that's what I have been doing, is unpacking from childhood to now. I'm in my 30s. I've had to continuously unpack. I think every day has been a new layer, a new bag unpacking, to really getting to the root of, wow, there's a lot underneath of there. Where did this come from? Why didn't I notice this beforehand? Why am I just now getting to a place where I'm coherent enough to realize something's not right? And I've let it go weathered for a long time. So I encourage you to just show up, whatever your calling is, whatever your purpose is. If you don't feel like you know what that is yet, just keep showing up in journaling. Keep showing up in the little things that you do to get to where you need to be. Because in those moments, that is when everything unfolds and becomes so much more clear. Just flow. All you gotta do is just flow. And as I'm talking to you, I am also talking to myself. My phone is going off like crazy right now. I don't even know who that is. I think it's my iPad. It's just flow. It's flow. You just have to let it flow. When you flow, you'll end up knowing. And when you know, that's when you go. Just flow. It's so important to just flow. It's so important to just flow. I think that the flow of life really allows you to become who you're striving to be. But as human beings, because of the shackles that are put on us from birth, we then take part in that activity by continuing on that toxic cycle instead of unveiling it and disarming it and moving forward without it. It's so important to just take it all off. Take off the expectations. God gave us a whole book of expectations that don't include human opinion. So the way that I look at life is I have to live up to a standard of God's law. I have to live up to a standard in my walk with Yeshua. Why do I need another layer of a standard of what a human being thinks that can't even keep their own life straight? That is not to negate anyone. That is simply just saying I cannot afford to worry about what other people think about me no more. I cannot afford to put those imaginary shackles on myself to the point where I'm not showing up for my purpose because I'm afraid what someone else is going to think. I can't afford it. I just can't. I have to keep doing me. I have to keep allowing myself to be myself. I have to keep showing up in the best ways that I know possible. And even when it don't feel good and it don't look right, I still have to do it because that is my own internal clocking in. And it's very important for me to clock in with myself. When I don't clock in with myself, I get behind. And then when I get behind, I get down on myself. And when I get down, I got to drag myself back up. Why not just keep up the pace? And that is your own internal pace. That is not the pace that someone else has set for you. Other people's expectations are not going to get you where you're going. The only expectation that you really need to focus on is the expectation that God has of you. And that is to have pure intentions of the heart and to learn how to love. The rest of the things are the worldly things. And I encourage you to let go of it as I am doing the same. It's so easy to just simply get caught up. I remember I used to have this girlfriend. If she ever sees this, I just want to say, Sky, I love you. You changed my life in ways you have no idea. Ethereal being, beautiful Cancer woman, singer. I have chills. I have chills. I have real chills. Love Sky so much. I met her in a bathroom at a restaurant, Chinese restaurant downtown in Atlanta. I lived in Atlanta at the time. And I remember I walked in the bathroom and she was just there. She was on a date or something. And I was like, oh my God, you're gorgeous. Are you a Cancer? And she looked at me. She was like, who are you and how do you know my sign? We immediately became friends from there. Well, long story short, she had this tattoo right here on her neck that said DGCU. And I remember one time I looked at her and I was like, what does that stand for? She was like, don't get caught up. I was like, wow, that's dope. She was like, yeah, girl. And it stuck with me. Don't get caught up. Don't get caught up in the expectations that other people have set for you in your life. Because let me tell you something. We're all struggling to meet our own expectations. I can guarantee you that that person that has an expectation of you, some imaginary expectation of you, is not even living up to their own expectations. So what's the point? Do you see where I'm going here? There is no point in trying to live up to, the expectations of the imaginary, or someone with an ulterior motive, or someone that's not even living up to their own expectations. What's the point? Are you living up to God's expectations? Are you living up to cosmic expectations? Are you living up to your lineage expectations? Are you living up to the expectations it's going to require you to keep going for your children, for the family that you are building, for your lifelong commitment to yourself, not to what other people want from you? It's so important. So that was a channeled message. I think that it's important to allow yourself to flow. I know this message will resonate with someone, and I don't know who you are, but I hope that it deeply helps you find your way and to understand that no one's opinion of yourself matters other than the opinion that you have of yourself. So, thank you for tuning in with me. Have a wonderful evening.